Have you ever heard the story of a boy who had nothing? No kingdom, no power, no future. He was abandoned by his people. He nearly starved to death. He was captured, enslaved, forgotten. And yet, that same boy would rise to become the most powerful man in the world. His name was Temujin, but history would remember him as Genghis Khan. Before the conquests, before the armies, before the empire, there was only survival. Temujin was born in the vast, unforgiving lands of Mongolia in 1162. The steppe was cold, harsh, and merciless. Life here didn't care who you were, only whether you were strong enough to endure. His father, a tribal chief, was poisoned by enemies when Temujin was just 9 years old. In an instant, everything changed. His tribe, the very people his father led, abandoned his family. They were left to fend for themselves. No protection, no food, no allies, just a grieving widow and her children, cast out into the wild. They survived on scraps, roots, mice, berries, anything they could find. Temujin learned what hunger felt like. Real hunger. He felt what it meant to be powerless, to be forgotten. But inside, something was growing. Not just rage, but resilience. Even within his own family, the struggle for survival turned brutal. When his older half-brother began hoarding food, Temujin made a choice. A hard choice. He killed him. Not out of cruelty, but to protect his mother and siblings. This was no ordinary child. This was a leader being forged by fire. As he grew older, others started to notice. Temujin wasn't just surviving. He was planning, thinking, watching. Eventually, a rival tribe saw him as a threat and captured him. They bound him with a wooden collar, paraded him like an animal, tried to break him. But Temujin watched, listened, waited. And one night, with the help of a single brave soul, he escaped, disappeared into the darkness, and lived. Again. But escaping wasn't enough. Temujin understood something few others did. To build something great, he couldn't rely on bloodlines. He had to build loyalty. Real loyalty. He began gathering allies, not from noble families, but from those who proved themselves. He elevated warriors who were strong, brave, and loyal, regardless of their birth. He shattered the old system, and in its place, he built something new, something powerful. He united the Mongol tribes, tribes that had warred for centuries, under a single banner. Not through fear alone, but through fairness, through leadership. In 1206, the tribes declared him Genghis Khan, the universal ruler, and the boy who once ate rats to stay alive was now ruler of the largest fighting force the world had ever seen. But Genghis Khan was more than a conqueror. He established law. He created systems for trade, communication, and order. He protected merchants, promoted religious freedom, connected the world from China to Europe. Yet none of that would have happened if one starving boy had given up, if he had accepted his fate, if he had died in that prison, or on that frozen plain. But he didn't. He endured. He escaped. He rose. So when life pushes you to the edge, when you feel forgotten, beaten, or lost, remember this. Even the greatest empire in history started with a boy who had nothing except the will to rise.